ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round number 4 of the 2021 Season 1 edition of the UK&I Monday Night Skippys live here on RaceSpotTV in support of the Calm Zone, the campaign against living miserably. Tonight we are racing at Watkins, Glen, and we are using the full layout, including the bus stop, the boot, and everything in between. So it's bound to be another exciting race here today with a 40+ car grid here in New York in America. It's not too hot here today, 65 degrees Fahrenheit, 18 degrees Celsius, less than 30 on the track, or 82 if you're American, so a lot more grip than we've had in the last couple of weeks, and not too windy either, so should be a very good day here for us. Still got about 3 minutes and change left of this qualifying session here at Watkins Glen International, and currently Benny Simonson is leading the way, but that's not the only thing he's leading. He's also leading the championship standings, 4 points ahead of Kane Halliburton, who is not racing here today. Simon Edwards is in 3rd, Adam Miles in 4th, and Lee Hughes in 5th. And as you can see, going down from 3rd on back, it's really close between everybody. Baranowski in 6th, Dowson in 7th, Daniel Tubbs in 8th, Christopher Miles in 9th, and Will Redford in 10th. And behind them the points are 51, 44, 38, so it's very close all the way down. But Halliburton is not in a bad position of being here today, because as always you get 2 drop weeks come the end of this 12 race season, so he can count his race out of his total, so that'll be all good for him. My name is Linus Broström, and I'm joined as always by Ryan Walker with Hugo Lees on the cameras. And Ryan, if last week was a draft fest, today is going to be even more.
Yeah, absolutely. Last week you might have thought that was a draft fest, but like you said, tonight with basically this track having loads of straights, don't be surprised if you see the pack really close together for most of the race. And yeah, I think with the draft as well, the only downside to that is you get a bit of a concertina effect and a bottleneck effect, and unfortunately towards the end of a race, especially around a track such as Watkins Glen, it can end up in disaster. But hopefully we don't have anything like that here tonight.
Hopefully we don't. It's downhill towards turn 1, that's not going to be too much of an issue, but then 2, 3, 4 up the hill, long straightaway into the bus stop chicane, and that's where I think we're going to see the biggest issue on lap number 1, because it's almost impossible to go too wide through there. And with the long straightaway leading up to it, we're going to see a lot of drafting, so that's going to be the point to look out for here. Still another minute to go of qualifying. And then people obviously get to finish out their laps, and it's actually Paul Grillo has taken over the lead now ahead of Will Redford, with Benny Simonson down in 3rd, Simon Edwards, Lee Hughes and Ewan Pattinson, the other championship contenders, following suit close behind. Here we are on board now with Will Redford coming into the second to last corner, turn number 10, and then into turn number 11, which is their names, at least on this layout. See what he can do. He's got a 2:08.127 to improve from. Here he comes. This finish line here is quite a way down. He's moving out of the draft as well. He's getting us an 8:42, so that's not going to help him. But Simon Edwards, who was in front of him, actually improved on his time to an 8.066, moves him up to 2nd place. But Paul Grillo still leading the way with just under 2 tenths. So this is going to be this final lap for Will Redford as the time just runs out. We have a few cars coming down the start-finish line straight. They're going to be done for the day, but these guys got every chance. I think Will Redford might have drafted Simon Edwards on that lap, and here Edwards gives it back, lets him go on the straightaways, and now it's all up to Redford what he's going to do for the rest of the lap. Touches the grass high over the curb on both the first couple of corners there, in the grass again, but I don't think that's going to give you 1x, so they're very lenient in that chicane specifically. Now through the carousel down towards the chute and now onto the boot, so this is the bit of an extra layout that the NASCAR cars doesn't use, but this is some prime overtaking opportunities down here in this area. So while we follow him along here through Toe and down through Hill 7 and 8, just a quick mention to our presenting sponsor or charity, Calm Zone. It's the campaign against living miserably. They're the leading movement against suicide. Every week in the UK alone, 125 people take their own lives, and 75% of those are male. Com exists to change this, so if you want to join the campaign and take a stand against suicide, go visit them at www.thecalmzone.net. Following Wildo coming out of the boot back onto the NASCAR layout through 9. Now he's got 2 more corners to go, so we've followed him through pretty much a whole lap here, see what he can do. It doesn't look too slow. Meanwhile, no real improvements from anybody. Paul Grelo still leading the way, but here comes Redford. He's going to be the last one to be able to do anything. Comes out of the final corner. It's a slight improvement from Pattinson ahead of him. Leus improves as well to an 8.111. As does Will Redford, but it's not going to be enough for any of them to beat Paul Grelo, so a few more cars coming across the line here. Simonson gets a bit of an improvement. Christopher Miles moves up into 8th position as well. See what other cars we have left running here. That would be pretty much it. Adam Cole is down in the boot as well. I think he might be the last one. See if he's going to have enough time. He does, and he is on a time lap. He's down in 33rd position with a 2:10.773. So if he can find a couple of tenths there, that's going to throw him a few positions up the order. He's got 2 corners to go. Through 10, and this is braking zone here into the final corner is going to be really interesting. He pulls off to the side though. I don't think this is going to be an improvement. He's just going to pull in to the pit lane. So with half a minute left on the cooldown clock, I believe that's it for qualifying. So let's go through the starting grid. It's going to be Paul Grillo starting on pole position with a 2:07.893, the only car under the 2.8s, with Simon Edwards in 2nd, Ewan Pattinson in 3rd, Leus in 4th, and Paul Grillo rounding out the top 5 with Benny Simonson in 6th, Adam Miles in 7th, Christopher Miles in 8th, Nicholas Von Roberts in 9th, Dave M. Dowson in 10th, Nathan Wade in 11th, Jack Hobbs in 12th, Clark Williams in 13th, James McRitchie in 14th, Seth Brown in 15th, Mark Langford in 16th, Peter Parnell in 17th, George Mattock in 18th, Ray Peasley in 19th, David Kirkman rounding out the top 20. The rest of the grid is up on your screen, and we have a field of 44 cars signed up for this event. There are 3 who seem to not be in the session, so we're going to get 41 cars in the grid. The last couple of cars are going to be lining up all the way back in the turn, but that shouldn't be hurting them too much though. So waiting for the start here, Ryan. Any late predictions on who's going to come out leading coming out of the bus stop the first time?
I don't know. I think the aim for the first lap anyway for the bus stop is just basically be sensible, don't do anything too silly on lap 1. I think predicting a winner on, or not a winner, but a leader on lap 1 rather, I think it'll probably be Ewan Patterson.
He's got a very good chance to do that if he can get a good exit out of the first couple of corners and a run up the hill there. Simon Edwards obviously going to get the first bit of the draft, but Pattinson going to get it almost twice as much, so he's got every bit of opportunity to do just that. He's still got 2 cars left to grid though, or actually a few. So just wait for those people. They still have about 20 seconds to find their positions on the grid before we get going. Looks like they are there. The engines are revving, the red lights are on. The green light and the green flag is out, and go wave it, Barney. Don't break the flag though. We're going though. Here we go. Top 15, 20 cars, single file straight away. Starting spots are pretty spread out here. So we have a car diving up the inside. That would be Nicholas Von Roberts and Christopher Miles taking 8th position right away. Seth Brown there further back is going around. He's parking it on the inside though. There's a car going wide to the outside as well. That's Adam Cole. So those 2 are pretty much out of the running for this race. Some side by side further back, but at the front we're still running single file. Here comes Simon Edwards now looking to the outside of Paul Grillo, coming onto the straightaway. Here comes Pattinson as he predicted. Here comes Leus as well. He's almost going to make it 4 wide. They're going to be 3 though. Leus with a massive run on the inside. Will Redford's following him as well. They're going to be 3 wide into the bus stop chicane on the first lap. How is that going to work? Edwards and Will Redford makes contact. He goes around. Everybody manages to avoid him somehow. Now he's parked on the curb, and that is not going to go well. He's going to lose the whole field, and this is going to be a drop week for Mr. Redford.
Oh, that was so unfortunate into the bus stop. That everyone was trying to go 4 wide into the bus stop, but some of them backed out of it, and some people, well, it looked like there was a bit of a bottleneck effect, and unfortunately it ended up with some contact being made.
Amazing job by everybody to get around that. Grillo and a couple other cars had to drive through the grass, and then a couple of people further back almost didn't see him until the last minute, but everybody pretty much getting through unscathed. That is amazing. Meanwhile, Leah Hughes from 4th position up to the lead by forcing it 3 wide has had an amazing start with Simon Edwards and Pattinson, and that little incident has given these guys a gap of about 1.3 seconds down to Benny Simonson in 4th, who is now on the hunt. And our pole sitter Paul Grillo has had some sort of an incident later on, as he is down in 13th position. Might have seen that on the screen. I was busy focusing on that incident, so apologies if I missed that, but you might have seen it. However, he's down in 13th, so not the best of starts for him. Benny Simonson back there in 4th, though. He's catching back up slightly, so if he can just get a little bit of draft from these guys, or if they can start battling, he's going to be right back up there. But from Miles in 5th down to Tim Adcock in 33rd, there is not a single gap in the order. It just goes all the way down the field as Paul Grill is pulled on to pit lane, and his race is pretty much over as well. That was an eventful first lap.
Yeah, it was so unfortunate for Paul. As I look at the replay of Adam Covell heading down to turn 1, and it looks like he might have been caught up in an incident, and he just got hit from behind.
He did, and there appears to be a crash on track as well. There's a ton of cars falling down the order. Alan Patterson is in that. See if we can figure out what happened. We're going to get a replay here of the 3 wide first coming into the bus stop chicane. Into the bus stop chicane, going 2 and 3 wide. And it's just Redford sends it in late. Grillo backs out. Redford is side by side with Edwards. He just loses it on his own. He gets a bit wobbly over the curb there, and Grillo drives through the grass and manages to avoid him. Has 2 cars following him, and then he can just sit there and wait and wait and wait until everybody is through. Here's a replay of that turn 1 crash as well. There's 5-6 cars involved. Baranowski, Patterson, Kirkman, Grillo, Langford, they're all involved in that. So sorry, not Grillo, he was already on pit lane, but one car got sideways on the inside and then got collected by a couple of others, and there's nowhere for them all to go.
Yep, that's just so unfortunate. But back up at the front, it's still actually Simon Edwards leading now from Leah Hughes and Ewan Patterson, and I think if these top 3 cars up at the front can work together, they can maybe try and pull away from Benny Simonson. But it looks like they're not getting away as easy, and Benny Simonson in the background there is closing them down. But behind Simonson, there's 2 cars off in the background. That's Clark Williams.
Clark Williams and James McRitchie both going in the wall. McRitchie backs. Oh, dude, careful! Straight into traffic. Thankfully, he stopped it halfway on the track, so everybody could get around. But that looked like it could be deadly. That is a very, very tricky corner, though. It's very bumpy. In these cars, it's not as tricky as in some of the cars I've driven here, but lucky for them, it's not more severe than that. Clark Williams, however, is pulled out as we have another crash coming out of the final corner. There's the car upside down. Ray Peasley is involved in that. Tony Stack as well. See what happened there as we get a replay again here. There is all sorts of things going on. Ray Peasley and that. Chris Hansen coming through the last corner here. That is car number 10. That's David Clapham, and they're already on their roof in front of him. He gets wiggly trying to avoid it. Here we go. Big bunch, of course. The 11 PM Jones is in there. 81. Oh, they just collect. Somebody goes backwards. Wheels touch. They go in the barrier. Cars flipping everywhere. Car upside down in the middle of the track. The 78, I believe that was. Might have been the 98. Couldn't really see. It was upside down. Might have been Alex Bailey. But the race is over for those guys as well. So a lot of casualties here on the first couple of laps. We're not used to seeing that in this series. Maybe a crash or 2, but not 15 cars falling out at once. Still going at the front though is Hughes, Pattinson and Simon Edwards. They are working together, but they're side by side. Edwards on the inside of Pattinson to regain his position here. Here we see another battle back in from 6th down to 12th. So a massive group of 7 cars. Dowson making up a spot here. So you see your leaders here on the right, and Benny Simonson has caught up, and here comes these other guys. in a bunch. 2 wide for the lead of this group is Miles and Nathan Wade. Dowson further back in the pack here, working on George Mattock. And now they're going to be 2 by 2. Wade and Miles, Von Robertson, Mattock. Who's going to be able to get out of that with the position? It's Nathan Wade holding on to 6th position there. Jack Hobbs ahead of him, pulling away slightly in 5th, but they're still side by side here. Mattock working on Von Robertson. Now Robertson's going to have the inside, so he'll just slot in behind, and these guys will finally go single file. As I say that, we have another move at the back there. Miles looking on Dowson, but not going to get much of a run. So coming down to finish off lap number 3. Side by side again. Here comes Tufts looking up the inside of Adam Miles at the back of this pack. He's going to get that position away from him. Peter Parnell dropping off at the back. Now we're on board here with Miles coming back up the hill. They're going to get a massive draft back here, and this group will just go back into a massive bunch come the end of this straightaway.
Yeah, they will, and it's basically if you're stuck in a pack and you've got a pack close together with the slipstream, it's so hard to make a pass. But in front of Adam Miles, it looks like we've got a move going on, and it looks like we might go 2 wide, we might even go 3 wide possibly into the bus stop, but it looks like Miles is deciding to do the sensible thing and just wait behind.
They get single file by the time they turn in though, so Von Robertson 6th, Miles and Wade 7th and 8th with Mattock in 9th. Again, they managed to sort it out, so sensible guys, 3 wide on the straight, and then when the corner comes up, whoever has the position gets to go ahead. It's sensible, but it's not going to help your speed, as Jack Hobbs pulled away now, is 2.5 from this group, so he's pretty much secured that 5th position unless something happens to him or something happens to the cars ahead of him. He might even gain a position. Has a look up the inside though. Here is Nathan Wade on the inside of Miles, but he's not quite close enough to do it in this one. He might get the run off this corner, be able to do it into the next one. He has to look out though, because Mattock is right there as well, and he is ready to pounce whenever he can. At the front, Simon Edwards has regained the lead as well. Those guys 4 in a bunch now. They're racing each other really hard. Here he comes up the inside. Mattock on the inside of Wade. Wade almost backs out, so Mattock up into 8th position. He gets sideways off the corner, so they're almost going to be 3 wide. Here comes Tufts, putting it 3 on the outside of this bumpy corner where you do not want to be almost 2 wide, and there's contact. George Mattock is sent wide by Nathan Wade, but he manages to hold on to it. Here comes Dowson though, making up a position on the inside, going to move up. No, he won't. Mattock will be able to hold on to it. Parnell though looking up the inside of Miles, trying to get that position from him. This is not going to stop anytime soon.
Absolutely not. Well, I'm watching this battle. I'm keeping an eye on the battle for the lead up at the front, and it looks like Leo Hughes was under attack from Ewan Patterson for a few seconds heading down to turn 1. But as this 4-car battle for the lead heads up through the S's now, and I wouldn't be surprised if Benny Simpson tries to make a move on Ewan Patterson and even Leo Hughes before the bus stop.
See this second group behind spreading out, but here they come. Single foul for now, but here comes the draft. Hughes looking to the outside now. Pattinson gets double draft. He's going to put it in the middle. What's Benny Simonson going to do? He's going to force it forward. He's going to get stuck behind. Edwards backs out, so now they're 2 by 2. It's going to be Leo Hughes on the outside. He's got the inside for the next 2 Kings, but Pattinson looks like he's going to get the lead out of this. Edwards is going to hold on to 3rd, so Simonson is going to have to stay in 4th position. He's on the outside though through the carousel, coming down towards the boot now. Benny Simonson takes over the lead from Leo Hughes. These guys are being a lot more sensible now than they were in the first lap.
They are, and I think this 4-pack battle is basically just broken away from the rest of the field behind, so it's basically just these guys squab on amongst themselves as they ride on board with Benny Simpson at the moment, and then riding from the rear of Simon Edwards looking at Leo Hughes. And I think Leo Hughes, if he gets a run here, I think he'll go for the move, but he's just surprisingly pulling out from the slipstream. And also with these Skip Barber cars as well, you've got to remember, if these cars get too hot and you stay in the slipstream for too long, the engine can go bang.
It definitely can. We saw that quite a lot about 5 or 6 seasons ago, but then they somehow fixed that. Oh, what's going on here?
Oh, is that Simonson?
Benny Simonson, I think he's warming his tires or something. Maybe the track is too cold. Wiggling back and forth in the middle of a race to warm his tires. See if that can get him up through the field. But that looked very, very weird. In the background as well, you can see Von Roberts has caught up to Hobbs and actually passed him for 5th place. So Hobbs had not secured that position at all. And here they come onto the front straight away again to complete lap number 5. Still 6 laps to go here in this 11-lap race. And Leo Hughes just dives out of the draft straight away. He does not want to get into position. And you can see Simonson, he's still wiggling back there. What is he doing? is all over the track coming down the straightaway. He must be having mega issues with those tires.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised that Simonson's doing that. I thought he was having issues, maybe like hardware issues when I saw him leaving, but I don't know if he's getting frustrated or if he's just messing around. But it's a bit surprising to see Benny doing that. Maybe he's just doing a bit of showmanship.
Yeah, we'll have to see. We've seen people before warming up their tyres right on the start and under qualifying laps, but here they go again, side by side. Lee Hughes takes over the lead, and Benny Simpson actually backs out. They're not even going to be trying to go side by side into the bus stop here. Still just going to drive away, and the gap down to Hobbs now, who's back up in 5th, is over 5 seconds. So these guys are doing an amazing job driving away from the rest of the pack, and somebody else is doing an amazing job. You remember Will Redford was parked backwards in the bus stop on lap number 1, letting the whole field pass. He's back up to P16. How has he done that? And speaking of that, just in front of him in P14 we have Ben Evans, who started in 41st. He started dead last, and he's in the top 15 already. That's some amazing drives back there, saying that there's only 30 cars left in the field, so 12 cars has crashed out so far, but that's none of our business. Here we go again, back on board with Benny Simpson. You can see him just going back and forth down the straightaways, warming his tires in the middle of the race. I've never seen that before, but we'll have to see if it pays off. If it takes him to victory lane for the second time this season, that's definitely going to be something I think a lot of other drivers is going to have to pick up on.
Yeah, absolutely. Just watching the steering input from Benny as well, he's just absolutely using loads of steering input, so I don't know if he's just kind of maybe just not comfortable, maybe trying to get some more temperature into his tyres, but at the moment he's doing well to keep up with the top 3 in front of him as they're coming around the final corner now to just about complete the end of lap 6, and Ewan Patterson pulls out from the slipstream behind Hughes, so maybe just getting a little bit concerned about the engine temperature, but also looking at this battle for P10 involving Adam Miles.
Yeah, these guys at the front, they're just taking it easy back here with Miles. He's with George Mattock and David Dowson for 10th, 11th and 12th. Nose to tail coming down in towards turn number 1. This group that we saw earlier, it's kind of spread out into 3 smaller groups. And this is the last part of that group now, coming up through the S's onto the back straight and to the bus stop. We'll see what happens here. It's Mattock leading the way ahead of Miles and Dowson. Teammates at the front of the pack, so they're not going to be doing too much. We got 3 wide for the lead here as well. It's Pattinson through the middle to pass Lee Hughes. Edwards moves up into 2nd. Hughes backs out. He's going to be in 3rd. Almost got an overlap there, but he backs out just enough to be single foul. It gives Pattinson a bit of a gap, but that's going to disappear in no time when they get back onto the straightaways. And Benny Simonson just biding his time back there in 4th position, not wanting to do anything, just saving his stuff, keeping the temperature in his tires by weaving down the straightaways. So we'll have to see if that pays off. It's going to be real interesting to see, as we have Steve Hefford as well and Chris Stokes here. They were side by side just before we got them into the shot going into the bus stop, but Hefford is taking that position away from Chris Stokes. So this is the back end of the top 20 now, coming around the carousel down towards the boots. Down the chute here, they've got Chris J. Morris and Seth Brown ahead of them. They're a couple of seconds up the road, so don't think they're going to be catching them too soon. And this is pretty much the last battle that we have on the track. All the other cars are spread out by over a second between each other. Back now with these guys though, 10th, 11th and 12th, where Miles has taken over from Matta coming down the straightaway to the bus stop. There now down here in the hill, I believe that's called now, up the hill into 9, the bumpy corner, and that was Nathan Way down the Tufts and Christopher Miles passing in the foreground. Here they come now back onto the NASCAR layout of the track into 10 and 11, and then I think we're just going to see Matta go back past Adam Miles and Damon Dowson happily sitting back there in 12th. It looks like he's sort of struggling to keep up with these 2 guys, but with the massive draft you have here, he's latching onto the back, as we have some action going on just ahead here with the leader Simonson right up on the back of Lee Hughes. On to lap number 8 we are now, so 4 laps to go, and I think Simpson might make a move this time because he's really close to Lee Hughes. It does not look like he's hanging back here. We'll have to see Simonson on the back of Pattinson, though. That's going to be where the first move is made. Then Lee Hughes is going to get a massive slingshot. Here he goes, Edwards to the left. Where's Lee Yu's gonna go? He's looking all the way over to the left. He's gonna have to go in the middle though. Here comes Simonson. Is he gonna do in the middle? He's gonna try. He had to back out slightly though, because Pattinson didn't have enough speed and there's not enough room to go forward wide. Lee Yu's up to the lead with Edwards actually staying in second. It went from second to second. So one lost and one gain from him there, side by side still through the carousel, Pattinson and Simonson. So Pattinson going to move up to third, Benny Simonson back down to fourth.
Yep, so Benny Simpson's deciding to get the elbows out now, and now is the time to go. And I think, I think this battle for the win is going to go right down to the last lap. But I don't know who's going to win this race or who to predict. But it's been a fantastic race between these four cars anyway. But I think at the moment, if I was to predict a winner, I think the person in the box seat at the moment is just a sneaky feeling I've got that it could be Ewan Patterson.
Definitely could. My bet is on whoever is third coming out of turn one on the final lap. That driver is definitely going to be leading into the bus stop, but then anything can happen. Sideways there on the inside as Simonson makes a late launch at Pattinson, compromises his exit speed, so Pattinson gets right back into that position. Hobson, one Roberts behind, closing in slightly, but they're still just over 5 seconds behind our leaders, so don't think they're going to be able to catch up in time unless something happens. Only got 3 laps to go now as we come around 10 and 11 here. And back to these groups back here. That's Wade, Miles and Tubbs for 7th, 8th and 9th, and then Mattock, Miles and Dowson 10th, 11th and 12th. And it's mainly Mattock and Miles going out of here. Dowson still struggling to keep up. I think that draft is helping him out quite a bit as Mattock goes high on the curb on the entry to the corner. That's not going to help him, but if these guys race his teammates and communicate properly, I don't think he's going to make a move down here. He's just going to pass him coming up the back straight, and then that's going to be that. But obviously both of them wants to finish in the top 10, so on the final lap I don't think they're going to be working as much as teammates anymore, so have to see what happens coming back up the hill here. Got the leaders on the right side as well. That's Edwards to the outside of Lee Hughes, Pattinson and Simonson side by side behind. They're not going to be close enough to do it this time, so Edwards to the lead, Pattinson back to fourth, Simonson up to third. Pattinson just backed out there, gave it to him, so 2.5 laps to go. He gets a bit of grass there. Pattinson going to be careful so you don't lose or damage your car too much there, but I think they're fine for now. Simon Edwards though up into the lead, and that's definitely not where you want to be when you take the white flag if these previous laps are anything to go by, but still 2.5 laps to go, so a lot can still happen. Further back in the pack here, that's Tim Adcock and Adam Cole who's found each other in 22nd and 23rd. They're coming up the hill, and it looks like Cole is missing a rear wing. That could help him with the speed coming down the straightaway, but it's definitely not going to help him in the turns, though I don't think those wings do very much for downforce in these cars. Yeah,
they don't really do anything, but when it comes to slowing down for a corner, that you've kind of got to be careful of what you do, otherwise you'll just be fighting the car. But these two guys have been pretty much together for a few laps anyway, as Adam runs wide a little bit, and I think he might be struggling a little bit with no rear wing, but at the moment with regards to keeping up with Tim, it doesn't seem to be hampering him too much.
It certainly doesn't, but he's still not able to quite keep up and get close enough. You saw a quick glimpse there on your left side as well. The biggest mover, Ben Evans, 28 positions, 41st. He's now up to 13th. And 2 positions behind him, we got Will Redford, who was parked on the curb on the first lap. Went all the way to the back and is back up to P15. But here he goes, Ben Evans. Now it says he's in 12th. Daniel Tufts has actually had a retirement right in front of him. So something has happened to Daniel Tufts. That means he's now up 29 positions. Ben Evans, that's an amazing drive from him here today. But here we go, Ewan Pattinson, these guys are back in a bunch. Simon Edwards leading the way. Lee Hughes, which way is he going to go? He's going to go to the left. Simonson behind is going to be forced to the middle unless Lee Hughes decides to box him in. Here comes Pattinson, now making it 3 wide by going all the way over to the left. Simonson is going to drop all the way to the back, but Pattinson is going to take the lead around the outside. Lee Hughes going to hold it up the inside. It's going to be side by side. Edwards drops back to 4th. Simonson gets a bit over the grass, gets a bit wobbly there, but he's going to hold it. Lee Hughes still on the inside, coming into the carousel. Great move from these guys, and it's now 1.5 laps to go. only got one lap to go next time by, so it's all or nothing now. But you definitely do not want to lead taking the white flag, I thought, so I don't really know why they're going at it this hard. But Benny Simonsen up the inside of Leus, side by side.
Oh, contact!
Down, contact though, he's going to get sideways, he's going to hold it though. What an amazing save by Leus. He's still got the inside of Simonsen. Contact again, he's going to push him a little bit wide. Edwards is back there just looking on and see if he can make a move coming down into heel.
Yeah, I think if these guys keep scrapping arms themselves, I think this could give you and Patterson a chance to possibly just pull away a little bit and build up a bit of a gap. But how that incident between Simonsen and Hughes never ended up in the even more disaster or even worse is beyond me.
Edwards still next to Simonsen here. He's got the inside though for the bumpy turn 9. He's going to get that position back, but now they are quite a bit behind Leus and Ewan Pattinson, so they're going to need all the slipstream they can get coming down the front straightaway to catch back up, or that could be it for these two. But as soon as Leus and Ewan Pattinson get sideways on the back straight as well, neither of them is going to have any draft whatsoever, so Simon Edwards is going to get a massive amount of speed there, and Leus does not follow Ewan Pattinson to get the draft down the front straightaway. That's a bit surprising, but maybe he doesn't want to be too close. It's white flag though, 1 lap to go, final time through the first corners, and these guys are very, very spread out here. See how that goes wide over the exit there onto the tarmac, back onto the track, coming up the S's for the final time, turn 2, 3 and 4. Here we go, we're on board with Leus. What is he gonna do? He's getting really, really close really early, and Simon Edwards is too far behind. Pattinson is actually going to give him the inside. We're on board now with Edwards. Leus goes by on the inside. Now Pattinson moves back into the draft. Is that going to be enough for him? Here comes Simon Edwards. He's got massive overspeed, but it's not going to be close enough to do anything. Pattinson's going to have to stay behind in second. See what happens here. Good line for all of them. Benny Simonsen has dropped off massively as well. I don't really know what's happened there. He must have made a mistake coming up the hill, so we'll have to follow these 3 cars now coming down to the boot. They've got 6 corners to go. It's Leus still leading the way. Edwards has a look up the inside of Pattinson. He's not going to do it here. Through turn 6, good exit by everybody. Pattinson now looking to the left. He's going to fake. He's going to look back to the right. He's going to stay in line behind Leus now through toe. Onto the next short little back straightaway. This could go anybody's way.
Absolutely could, as we're heading down to the final few corners now, and Hughes goes to the inside to defend from Patterson. Patterson tries to defend from Edwards. Edwards tries to take a sneaky look up the inside of Patterson. Is there going to be contact? Oh, I think there was a slight bit of contact.
Edwards locked up his front rear wheel there. It looked like came a bit of smoke from that, but that's not going to hurt his car too much. So it's a 2-cat race now. Leus versus Ewan Pattinson. Who's going to get it? There's not going to be a lot of draft coming down this straightaway. Pattinson is right there. He's looking inside. He's looking outside. He's faking Leus. He holds the inside. Can he hold it through this corner? He's going to drift wide. Here comes Pattinson. Looking to the left, he's going to be inside advantage still for Leus, but Pattinson with the outside line is going to have the overspeed. Is Leus going to cut him off? He's going to be clear. Here comes Pattinson. He's going to look up to the left. He's going to have the overspeed, but Leus is going to be ahead, and he's going to be Leus. He's going to win by 23 1/1000ths of a second. Simon Edwards in third, and Benny Simonsen limping home behind these guys. Actually, he's going to crash. Something has happened back there. Benny Simonsen did cross the line in fourth, just ahead of Jack Hobbs and Nicholas Von Roberts, so that happened right at the line. I think Simonsen might have ran out of fuel because those 3 were side by side. He was trying to show off coming to the line and spun out and had to go backwards across the line. I'm not too sure the league organizers are going to be a big fan of that, but yeah, we'll have to see what happened there. Anyway, Simonsen got 4th, Hobbs beat Von Roberts for 5th, so yeah, that's not very good sportsmanship from Simonsen in 4th, but hey, I'm just commentating, so I want to see action. Here we have Adam Cole coming home in 22nd. He was not able to touch Tim Adcock there at the end. Chris Kane 29th and Steve Lowe in 28th. They're still racing, and they've got a long way to go, so still got some action going on here. I believe these guys are coming down to turn number 9 or 7 even.
Yeah, and yeah, pretty much like you say, it's yeah, like I've said before, you always get battles up at the front in this series or in the mid pack, but you also get some battles towards the back of the grid as well. And at the moment, it's been just been showing it here as Ken tries to go for a look on the outside of Lowe, and I think he might be able to do it if he can keep the momentum up. Can he do it? Oh, I don't think he can.
This is for the last place of the race. Final car to finish on the lead lap. Here they come through turn number 9. He's going to go really, really wide there, Steve Lowe. So Kane is going to get the inside. He's going to stay very, very tight out of that corner, though. He's going to stay behind him. I'm not really sure what he did there. Got a bad exit, though. So that's pretty much going to be it for Steve Lowe, unless Kane can find something here through the last couple of corners. But Steve Lowe with a good run here through 10, through 11, and it's going to be Steve Lowe taking home the race for the second to last place on the lead lap, with Chris Kane coming home in 29. Good job, guys, putting on the show all the way to the end. So that would be everybody coming home across the line. So let's quickly go through the post-race results here. Leah Hughes, the victory, 24 1,000ths of a second officially, with Simon Edwards just behind Doom Patterson in second, Edwards in third, Benny Simonson in fourth with a little bit of a controversial finish, Jack Hobbs in fifth, Nicholas Von Roberts in sixth, Nathan Wade in seventh, Christopher Miles in eighth, David Dowson in ninth, and Adam Miles rounds out the top 10. Then we got Ben Evans from 41st to 11th. He gained 30 positions in this race. George Mattock in 12th, and Will Redford from 5th down to last place on the first lap, back up to 13th. An amazing drive from him. Terry McGrother in 14th, Peter Parnell in 15th, Seth Brown 16th, Chris J. Morris 17th, Steve Hefford in 18th, Chris Stoke in 19th, and David Clapham in 20th. The rest of the result is up on your screen there, and let's have a little chat here with Mr. Recovery Drive of the race, Will Redford. That was an optimistic move, to say the least, there at the start, going 3 wide into the bus stop. First of all, massive luck not getting hit by anybody, and what a recovery drive.
That was annoying. I saw Claire go in for the move down the inside, so I thought, I'm going to follow her. And it worked out. I got through, and then I got a snap of oversteer off the curb, so I had to turn away from the slide to avoid hitting Simon, and it just snapped on me and I went round. That was that. So that put me dead last, and it was pretty fun going through the field, but I would have liked to have been on the front.
Yeah, it would have been fun to have a little Will Redford cam there if we knew that was going to happen, but 41st pretty much up to 13th, that's an amazing drive, and actually on the final lap you set the fastest lap of everybody on that lap, so congrats on that again. Anybody you want to send a shout out to following today's interesting event?
Shout out to everyone for avoiding me. That was a good avoidance. That doesn't normally happen in this series.
Yeah, what's it like sitting there on the curb with the whole field coming at you?
I was just hoping no one would hit me. I managed to roll back behind the curb, so I was somewhat safe, but if someone went wide, they would have gone straight into me.
Well, thankfully they did not. Imola next week, is that a favourite of yours, or you'd rather skip it?
Not raced there yet, so maybe I'll pull off a Nordschleife from last season.
Well, good luck, and hopefully we will see you then. No more interviews for now, so we'll give it just a minute. But Ryan, that was quite an interesting race, and really, really close at the end there. Unfortunately, Simon Edwards couldn't keep up all the way to the end with that little incident, but still, a very, very interesting race.
Yeah, it was still a great race, and I think we had a great battle for the win. It was unfortunate Benny Simpson had issues towards the end after being caught up with Leah Hughes, but overall that was a great race, and yeah, not just at the front but in the mid-pack as well. We had that battle just outside the top 10, and I think it's just proof yet again, wherever you look or wherever you're racing, you've always got someone to race with, and it's just the nature of the series, and it's why I love commentating on it and why I loved racing in it before, and I think we should be next week at Imola, we should be in for a great race.
Yeah, I think we will. It's still a fairly new track to the service, so maybe not everybody has driven it. I actually have not, so I've driven it on other services, but not on iRacing, so that's definitely going to be a good race, especially in these cars. See if nobody else wants to show up, see if we can get the updated standings, perhaps, if that's if that's completed yet. It is not been updated by iRacing yet, so still a minute there. Oh, it just did, so we'll get it for you as soon as we can. Simon has actually pulled into the server. What great timing, Simon. Thank you for coming. That was an interesting race for you as well, all the way up to the end. First to fourth, back to first, 3 wide, 2 wide, all the time. Tell us about your race.
Yeah, that was good fun. We were all trusting each other, but still being aggressive. So it was really fun. Pity about the last 2 laps, but there was nothing in malice in that. That was just a bit of coming together between Leah and Benny. Looks like they just moved towards each other a little bit. And then I clipped the back of Ewan. Luckily, it didn't do any damage to him. But apart from that, I think it was a nice race. It was, competitive, just jostling, like you say, 2 wide through the bus stop. That hopefully teach people that you can do it nicely.
Was that a dig at Will?
No, but Will's done it all right. He just tried it on the first lap, and the first lap tyres, they're just a bit cold. He didn't hit anybody. I had a look, and he didn't come back on track and hit anybody, so he did well there. Yeah. So that wasn't a dig at Will at all. I'm sure Will probably thinks, I should have just waited a lap, just get my tyres warm. But yeah, that was unfortunate. I mean, I was a bit panicky on the inside, never mind Will on the outside. So
yeah, speaking of tyres there, we saw Benny Simonson several times halfway through the race weaving his car back and forth aggressively and all over the width of the track. I believe that was Benny Simonson anyway. Do you know what that's about? Was he warming his tyres, or was he just struggling with something?
What he might have been doing is just trying to get the ideal distance behind somebody without losing any speed. So he's just extending the distance that he's driving. Maybe. Depends how aggressive it was.
Yeah,
I wasn't really watching.
The first time it was wiggling very aggressively, and then it was just weaving back and forth across the track. But that's a good point. Increasing your distance to a desirable distance without losing any speed. That's something we'll have to think about next time we see him do that. Imola next week, though, is that a favourite of yours? Or?
I actually quite like Imola. It depends on the cars, but in the skip, it's quite fun. It's a bit of a big track for the skip, but I find it quite fun, especially when you got to jump through the chicane. That's quite fun.
So we'll see your first win of the season then, I take.
Yeah, I doubt it. I think I've lost all my talent this year. It's just not working for me. But I'm having fun, so I'm happy.
That's,
from last week, obviously, I got annoyed, and I got over that pretty quick. So, and this week was a nice race, so I'm happy.
So you're staying in the series, then that's good. Anybody you want to send a shout out to?
My sponsor, as usual, Benny, for letting me past and not fighting me on the last lap there, the last 2 laps, and you guys, of course, RaceSpot.
Thank you very much, Simon, and hope to see you then again next week as well. So now maybe we have some time for the championship standings. If not, I'll go through them manually. Here we go. Benny Simonson then with another good result, despite coming home in 4th, leading the way at 138 points. Simon Edwards in 2nd at 112, Lee Hughes at 111, Halliburton at 106, and Adam Miles at 101. Then Ewan Pattinson coming up to 6th place, David Dowson 7th, Miles up to 8th. Baranowski in 9th, and Will Redford with the points he managed to salvage is in 10th position. But then again, remember, there are drop weeks, so not gonna be too worried just yet. Here we have the calendar as well. 12 races, 10 of those will count. We're moving to Imola next week. As you can see, it's quite an interesting schedule, especially towards the end there. Bathurst, Millsborough, Donington, and then finishing the season at Long Beach. That's definitely going to be one to look out for. Any final thoughts on the day, Ryan?
I have to say, the early stages was a bit chaotic. We had some incidents going on. But once the race settled down, we had a fantastic race for the win, and I think around Imola as well with that long home straight, I think we should be in for another draft fest possibly. But yeah, it should be a great race nevertheless, and it's one that I'm looking forward to around one of my favourite tracks.
Yeah, well, that is in 1 week's time at Imola. So my name is Linus Bergström, joined by Ryan Walker as always, and Hugo Luis with the amazing job on the cameras. Thank you for tuning in today, and congrats once again to Leigh Hughes on his victory. You've been watching the UK&I Monday Night Skippys live here on RaceSpotTV in support of the Calm Zone. Catch us same next week, sorry about that, here on RaceSpotTV. Until then, take care everybody and stay safe. Goodbye.